see, it's 5:31. I think it looks like we have a quorum. I don't think no one texted me say they weren't going to be able to make it. So maybe I'll 5:31, I'll call the meeting to order and of the Madison Building Committee. Public comment. Raquel, I assume there's no public comment.
Right.
Approval of the prior minutes of December 15th, 2025. So it's been 5 weeks, 6 weeks almost. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll do that.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second? Thank you, Bob. Bob second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We're off to a slow start here. We got to pick up the pace here if we're going to meet the Bob's 30-minute maximum timeline. So I think we're moving on to item 4, old business, hearing none. Moving on to new business. I don't know if we decided to do a slightly different format here where Adam kind of heads us off and then everyone piles on top of Adam's comments.
Yeah, that's fine. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's had a good holiday season to start to the new year. In terms of things that the collective team's been working on, you'll see a couple of items that we'll talk about here shortly in terms of procurement, cleanup, that sort of thing. In general, project closeout is the overarching name of the game. The big push for the final closeout change orders will occur at the next meeting. That should see probably over 7 figures worth of closeout credits back to the town as we resolve CM contingency, trade allowances, those types of items. So Zach and I are working on finalizing those right now. And like I said, that should be coming up at the next meeting, as well as the other straggler change order items that we've been tracking. So all good news on that front. In terms of other financial items, we've had our first Eversource check come back. So that 319,000 has been received by the town. The second check for the balance, largely the balance of it for 91,000, will occur after about the 1-year mark once we've got the occupancy measurement and verification done. We also have the ITC tax credit that is coordination with the Tackens Collectathon. That is something that is looking to get submitted shortly. We just need some of the closeout documents and final bills to get paid. But once again, I'm meeting with that consultant this week to confirm exactly what's left and if there's any decisions that the town needs to make on when and how and what gets submitted. So all working through that in good process. In terms of other items that have come up, there was a number of open commissioning items and some mechanical components that the project's working through with the HVAC equipment manufacturer to get some of those replacement compressors and boards and things put into place as they come through, as well as working through some items in the actual building management system, some settings and items that need to be updated. We just had a meeting about that within the past week. So those are still being tracked. In terms of punch list, that list is very small now. Zach, do you want to just touch on sort of the open couple items there and the timelines for those? I'm not hearing your audio, Zach. You're not on mute, but it's not, at least I'm not hearing him. I don't know if anyone else can.
Yep.
Can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect.
As I'm opening up the punch list, just to give everyone an idea of the specific items that we still do have open. Just touching on commissioning. So for the commissioning items right now, we have less than, I believe, 5 items that are open at this time. A couple of those items were actually addressed this past yesterday on Martin Luther King Day, since we had the school to ourselves. So realistically, that list is down to 3 items out of the 130 plus that were created. So getting close to the wire of taking care of commissioning and putting that to bed. once and for all, just with a couple other items that will be checked as we enter the next shoulder season and make our way through the spring, just to ensure that everything is functioning correctly as we get through one full year of seasonal rotations. So looking at the punch list right now, we actually had Wayne Griffin. They were on site today. They had some additional galvanized paint they have to apply at all these NEMA rated boxes we have at the light poles that just keep all of the parts and smarts and some of the IT equipment housed and protected from the weather conditions, just so it can then serve the blue lockdown strobes, the cameras, and the wireless access point at the pole. So that item was actually taken care of today. Another item that's going to be remaining open until we fully get through the spring and then see the seed establish. It will be the seeding slash sod punch list item that we do have. So we're actually going to be having our drone vendor coming out at some point this spring, probably around the May timeframe, just to see everything established to ensure specifically that the east field and also the north geothermal field was fully taken after we completed some additional seeding in October before the winter came upon us. Outside of that, nothing for major items in the construction team's court. Tim Mayu at Tecton has a few items with his team that they just need to review before they can close out the items. And then lastly, one of the larger items that we do need to take care of, which we're working through right now with the flooring contractor, is just the social stairs. As some of you may have heard, the social stairs have shrunk a bit as we have had conditions inside the building stabilize in the winter and the air has begun to dry out during time of installation. We were at 50, 55 RH, which is the upper end of the spectrum for the specs. And then as the winter months came about, we're still within range, within finishes range, so there's no issues with interior humidity for the building. But those have gone down to 20, 25%, just causing any of the moisture within the boards to shrink. So now we're just dealing with some of the gapping and then the out of planar levelness with some of the planks of the stairs and addressing that again with our flooring subcontractor. So no major items still open. Some of the items pertaining just to the spring months coming about, so we can actually close those in their totality. And then in regards to change orders, as Adam mentioned, next month we are going to be having another large ATP presented to the members here for approval, which will be the give back of construction contingency, the give back of all trade allowances that were not utilized during the project, and then also the give back of any construction site services that were not utilized during the project. So combine those three different buckets of money or funding sources that Gilbane was using during construction will amount to well more than $750,000. I believe my last estimate was closer to actually to $1 million for all of those. So Ab and I are filing up that tally along with a few other miscellaneous change orders to help reconcile and close out the financial front for the project on the construction side.
Excellent. If you need to take a little more time to get the number up a little bit, feel free, Zach, to don't feel you had to rush to the conclusion there. If you got
Don't worry, you're gonna see one of them tonight, Graham. We have a large six-figure credit up for approval.
Okay,
So
excellent.
the number goes up as we go along. We gotta close it out to lock in
Yeah.
that savings. Last last thing I would mention just before we move on to the changes and all that. There was over the holiday break a roof drain that became detached at the interior, so there was some water that came in at one of the classroom walls. Peter, I know he's not able to be on the call because he's doing a Board of Education call right now, but Gabane, Colliers, Peter were coordinating sort of in real time while it was happening. ServPro came out, dried it out, placed the drywall, patch, painted, finished. So for all intents and purposes, the rooms are back up and running as expected. That's being resolved directly between the subs through Gilbane to facilities. So we're not running it through the project finances to help avoid any reimbursement issues or things of that nature. There was also some supplemental looking at all the other roof drains just to make sure that this was this a one-off. Zach, I believe there's a couple others that want to get tweaked for hangers and whatnot, just as belts and suspenders.
Of the 31 roof drain locations, myself along.
You're fading again.
You're
Same thing?
there you go. Now we can hear you.
Okay, great.
You're very
So
quiet.
myself and a few other members from my team, we took the time to go through the building in its entirety on the main level and to verify all of the 31 roof drain locations were in fact supported and supported within the International Plumbing Code and then also specification standards outlined by Colarona and the design team. So we can confirm that everything else does have hangers in place as of right now. The other 30 locations are properly hung at this time. Craig and his team have been working with us to go through the different photos and everything that we did document. A handful of hangers do need to be modified and or added just to make sure that they are within 12 inches of any couplings or fittings, which was spelled out in Colorado specifications. So Crest Mechanical, we're coordinating with them to get them back on site just to add or modify some of the additional hangers, but we do not have any concerns or worries as of right now, even based on hypothetical max loads that Craig and his team were actually able to run, ensuring that there's no immediate concerns. If we had a large snow event and melting event again, that the roof drain incident would not reoccur at the building. So no concerns at this time, but we will be returning to the school with Crest to add additional hangers to make sure that we are within specification requirements.
Great. Thanks for jumping on that so quickly.
Absolutely.
All right. Any questions before we move on to procurement and invoices? No? All right.
I mean, the only question was the bench change. That may be on your list. It's that if it is, yeah.
It's one of the changes. Yep.
Okay, that's what I figured. Okay. Didn't mean to steal the punchline there or bury the lead there. Go ahead. Sorry.
Good. You're faster than I am, Graham. All right, so on for procurement, there are 4 items for approval. The first one is actually, it's not doesn't require a vote. It was something that was reviewed on an expedited basis. A small charge for an additional or a new POE extender. There's basically one of the town controlled lawnmowers damaged one of the security camera components. So one of that security cameras is not currently functioning. So this is something being procured to get the same thing as what was installed. This is outside the project scope, so it's Zach, I believe, are running this through CM contingency, so there won't be a change order. It's just something that's sort of a day 2 item that the school needs in order to start functioning. So this was coordinated on an expedited basis. So it'll show up when we do the contingency resolution next month. But just for transparency, this is something that was coordinated outside of the meetings to keep this moving. The bid value was like $2,000 something. I have the value in here somewhere at $2,289 for the subcontractor. So just reporting back on that in this meeting. For the 4 ATPs up for this evening, the first ATP 72, which is something that the team has been tracking for a long time now, going back and forth and negotiating and reviewing and clarifying with the subcontractor. So the value is $6,120. There were a number of equipment electrical clarifications that were reviewed and tweaked throughout the project. The reason why this one took such a long time to come to consensus is making sure that they weren't double counting breakers, and if you could borrow from over here, if you subtract it from one and you could use it another place, we used it another place or got credits for it. So took a while to make sure that we had everything, all the T's crossed and I's dotted. But this was the net resolution reviewed by Kohler-Ronan and Colliers and Gilbane and the subcontractor. ATP 155. This one is for $20,412. This is for the buddy benches that we just talked about, or Graham just referenced at the pre-K playground. Went through, got some input on colors and locations in terms of what they're being located. So it's these locations here. The cost original estimate based on the materials alone was just around 15, but after looking at the utilities in the area, I need to have some increased labor for hand digging out the foundations so that way we weren't accidentally potentially damaging some of the new utilities we just put in that area. We had some very close scrutiny on when we were installing the playground equipment for that exact reason. So did not want to be foolish with trying to get around the utilities for these. So this is soup to nuts installation, but to provide those protective bunches and add the social element for buddy benches outside the windows to prevent that sort of head knocker situation for kids running around.
And you got Sharon's okay on this color scheme, I hope, I trust.
This was revised to reflect the comment of not having, I think it was gray at this location or brown or something, and then providing the red that was suggested at that spot, and then switching to the colors around.
Good choice, I think.
ATP 156. This is the second of three performance and payments bonds reconciliations with the subcontractors. We had one of these at our last meeting. This is for 4,812. The final version or the final of these will come at the next meeting in February. This is just the math exercise. All the change orders throughout the project for each of the subcontractors. They didn't incrementally get new quotes for bonds as we were doing all the change orders. You do a reconciliation at the end. So, like I said, largely just a math exercise on this one. And then finally, as promised, ATP 157, a credit back to the project of just over $117,000 for unused owner allowances. Any questions on any of those before I show motions on the screen?
That includes the rock credit. Did we technically hit any rock on the job? I see that was one of the credits. I don't know if we had ever.
This one, we didn't use. Did we use any of this one, Zach? I think you're quiet again, Zach. I looked at all these and I don't remember which ones we had on. I believe we used a little bit of this allowance for some of that rock work owned by the utilities. I think.
Oh, maybe it's a boulder.
Yeah,
Okay.
can you? Okay, so we did use owner allowance number 7 when we were doing some of the utility work, specifically bringing the telecommunication lines over to the west portion of the building. So the owner allowance was utilized for that, but largely the majority of it is giving back now.
Yeah, we didn't hit like piles of rock like the initial thought was to deal with all rock, but when you hear about rock, you think, oh no, we just hit a bunch of rock. Instead, it was like it was targeted rock.
This time it worked in our favor, obviously. So are we ready for some motions to be made here?
Would you like me to read those for you, Graham?
That would be excellent.
Okay.
Especially the last one. I want you to pause and link with the credit.
All right, I'll read that one really slow. Okay. Motion to approve ATP 072 for the change to Gilbane's existing construction contract in the amount of $6,120 for mechanical equipment and clarifications.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, George. Woody is, I'm sure he's in some balmy destination, so you'll have to show him in duty. So Sharon, if you'd read that, all in favor? I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve ATP 0155 for a change to Gilbane's existing construction contract in the amount of $20,412 for buddy benches at the pre-K playground.
Do we have a second?
Woody says he'll second it.
The minutes will be very confused by that. All in favor? Aye.
Motion to approve ATP 0156 for a change to Gilbane's existing construction contract in the amount of $4,812 for subcontractor performance and payment bond adjustments.
Do we have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve the revised ATP 0157 for a change to Gilbane's existing construction contract for a credit in the amount of $117,549.00 for the return of unused owner allowances.
Well said.
Thank you.
George, would you like to second that one?
Woohoo, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous?
All right, thank you. On to the invoice packet. We have billing from BVH, the commissioning agent, a small amount from the tax consultant for some coordination just between meetings, monthly Collier's bill, the closeout bill from Langren for the Ryerson Hazmat study, the closeout billing from Navis and Young. Got to put in the parentheses there, but they're the stormwater agent. That's them closing them out as well, as the closeout report's been submitted to the state for the stormwater monitoring. And then pay application 22 from Gilbane for a total of just over 72,000.
Excellent.
I'd like to make a motion to approve invoice package dated 1/20/2026, including invoices from BVH, CLA, Colliers, Langen, and Nafis and Young in the amount of $19,402.41, and construction payment requisition 22 from Gilbane in the amount of $52,730.66 for a total approval of $72,133.07.
Do we have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried unanimously. Thank you, Adam. So moving on to number 7, public comment. I assume, Raquel, we have no public on the line with their hand raised.
Correct.
Thank you very much. Number 8, remarks. Does anyone have any remarks, comments, questions to make? Woody's not here, so I'm sure he would have asked about the solar panels, but since he's not, we'll.
Yeah, he sent me a note and he's got a list of questions. That's going to solar panels. Just kidding. Did want to just mention, apologize for what happened with the storm pipe over Christmas break. Certainly not something that we're proud of, and not something we look at as acceptable on our part or our plumber. But and also want to thank Peter Anderson and his team for jumping on it right away, and then getting ServPro in there. And wasn't something, it wasn't an issue they created. Fortunately, they I think bore the bulk of helping get it resolved. But certainly, all costs will be obviously taken care of. But not a proud moment for us. So just wanted to apologize for that.
I don't think anybody held you guys personally responsible. Maybe the commissioning guy. I blame the. What are we paying those guys for? No, appreciate your stepping up and doing it, and these things happen, and I'm glad it was had good resolution.
Yeah.
And I'd already done your reference, Gilbane's reference by the time it happened, so you're off the hook anyway.
Just made it in time.
Exactly. I said, hey, can I try to get it back, but it was too late. So I already. Thank you. One comment. The Ryerson, I know there's been some talk about in the past about Ryerson definitely potentially getting involved in that. It appears here through the grapevine that it's probably going to take a little longer, and it's not going to fall in our purview. So as much as everyone was looking forward to knocking down Ryerson, probably we're just going to give the money back to the town, and the town's going to have to determine what to do with if they in fact demolish Ryerson or not demolish Ryerson. I think that's what I'm hearing through the grapevine. So look, if we give back the 2 + 2, if we get the tax credits, the town, whatever they want to, potentially do there, but it's not going to work out time-wise. And we obviously want to close out this project as quickly as possible. And I'm sure as much as everyone loves meeting together, I'm on orders for my wife to shut this thing down before next Christmas. So after spending 5 years in the library, she's eager to bring this one to closure sooner than later. So all good. Oh, by the way, I did ask Peter how the building was running, the energy utilities, and he said that the utilities have been. This is more for Woody than anybody. That's why I asked him. But the building has been actually operating almost exactly in line with the modeling that was done before in terms of utility bills. So, we had estimated the electric utilities would be about $160,000 a year, and we're on a pace to be like a $150,000. which is, exceptional for the first year, and great to see, it's a great CM team, great commissioning team, and everything else, the miraculously, and the owner's rep. Sorry, Adam. You were there turning the screws on, turning the wrench.
Yeah, I didn't put out any AVP, so it's
Yeah,
those guys.
exactly. So good news. And the architect for designing a building, obviously, that is tight as it is, and working, up to spec. So that's that was the plan, but meeting the plan doesn't always happen. So
It's impressive by Cole Ronan getting that calc as close as they did. You hear about all these jobs that go solar and geo and all these different sustainable systems that don't come close to meeting what the target was. And
Right.
some
Especially
folks
the
have
first year, yeah.
buyer's remorse after the fact about it. But
Right.
yeah, well done on their part.
yeah, I personally thank Rory for, I mean, and during the commissioning, he was there, Johnny on the spot, when it was, people started to point fingers at each other at some point. Potentially, they didn't in this job, but I personally think he really stepped up and personally was involved and helped getting us over that initial startup period. So no,
Yep.
I've obviously jinxed ourselves, but so far so good. We're in the middle of winter. Tomorrow it's gonna be cold tonight. That's a 0. Hopefully there's no pipes too close to the perimeter walls. Those spray, knock wood. But it's always a good test to hit that first 0-degree day.
Yep.
So. With that, hearing no other questions or comments, remarks, motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, all in second. We have a second, George?
I'll second it. Sure, I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Take
Take
care. See
care,
everybody in
everybody.
February.